Hi, everybody. Welcome to Knew It Too from Be So In. Jan and Kaylin here. Hi.
Hi.
We are coming to you from the Oklahoma City location, and we are here today to talk about one of the most amazing machines that Baby Lock has in the lineup, and that's the Baby Lock Soprano. It is just an absolute gem to sew on, and it meets so many of the needs that people have when they're looking for a sewing machine. Whether you need one to get you started, or you already have one and you need one to have something smaller to carry with you than your big machine, or you're ready to step up in the world and have one with more features. Maybe you're looking for a Mother's Day gift. That's right around the corner. Or graduation gift. That's also right around the corner. Or maybe you're just ready to treat yourself to something fun and new. Let me show you all about the Baby Lock Soprano. Now, it is in the line of all of those musical name machines. As you know, Baby Lock has a very liking towards musical type things, and Soprano is one of those. Soprano actually is one of the most lucrative machines to have because it gives you so many great features for the mid-size machine. This particular model has the same body casting that you would see in, say, the Lyric, which is the step below it, or the Brilliant, or the Presto. So those four machines all share that same body type, and the features are different on them. So this is going to be the top of those four machines I just named off, where you're going to get all the whiz-bang fun features on it on this machine. If you were to step up from this machine, then you're going into one that's the much bigger body style. And for some people, maybe they don't have the space for that, or they're not ready for that big of a machine, or it's not meeting that need they have to have something that's easier to travel with. This one only weighs 21.3 pounds, so it makes it much easier to travel with. I've had a lot of customers like this for, say, a motorhome, or maybe if they're going away to retreats, or maybe they have a she shed that they have their big embroidery combo machine, but they just want something smaller to be able to sew on, but they don't want to give up some key features. So Kaylin, you want to help me come up with some of those key features?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so as I'm going over here, and Kaylin, you're going to step in and help me remember all of these things, but I want to show you what you get right out of the box. Of course, you get the wonderful machine. And right now you're looking at it here with its regular accessory tray attached to it, and it comes with the J-foot already installed on the machine. And inside this accessory tray is another little tray that has a lot of the feet that come with it. In here, because the J foot, of course, is the standard foot, that's over here on the machine. But what comes in this little tray, you're going to get your buttonhole foot. This is the R foot, which is the blind hem foot. Had to think for a second. You have the button fitting foot, the open toe foot, the zipper foot, the overcasting foot. It comes with 4 bobbins total. One comes in the machine, and then you've got 3 extra class 15 bobbins, and a handy dandy seam ripper, because we all know that seam rippers are an important tool to have too. And it fits just nicely right inside here so that you can keep that tucked out of the way. One of the other things that's great about this machine is it comes with an extension table. So let me show you that. I'm going to move this aside because I already showed you all the goodies that come with that. I'm going to put that right back over here actually. Along with having the ability to take your accessory tray off, you have a wonderful free arm. So if you're working on a pant leg or a sleeve, or any small thing that needs to be able to go all the way around a free arm, you have that ability to do that on this machine. And then it also has the ability to drop your feed dogs with the switch that's right here on the back of the machine, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that being said, I've took that off, and now I'm going to show you it comes with the extension table. A lot of machines don't come with an extension table. It's something that you would add onto it, and an extension table is a great way to give you more real estate for the product you're working on, and it just gives you a lot of extras with, you know, the ruler that comes attached to it. It also has a handy place to store your knee lift tool right here on the back of the table, so that you don't have to wonder where it ran away to. And it can live right there because you can hook that knee lifter in here, and that can raise and lower the presser foot with you just moving your knee to keep that presser foot going up and down while your hands are busy. So to use this, you just pop open the little legs. They also have the little swiveling part
Adjustable
here.
feet.
Thank you. I was like, what do you call that? An adjustable foot, so that you can level your table. I'm going to move my little paper over here, and it's going to slide in place. And then it has a little hole right here that it just feeds right into and locks in place. Look at all that real estate I just gained for what I'm working on. So I'm not just stuck like right here. Quilts tend to get bigger than that. Clothes are bigger than that. So this is a lovely extra space right here. When I lift up the lid here, it has all of the different stitch patterns listed up here. However, if you don't want to have to hunt for them up here, you can find them as you scroll around through the machine, but it's nice to have that visual aid. You see, if you look right here, you have icons. That's the utility icon. And then you have decorative 1, decorative 2, decorative 3, and alphabets. So when I know I want to pick out a stitch, all I have to do is look at what icon I have. So let's say I wanted to do a decorative stitch and I'm wanting to do this number 51 right here. All I would need to do is come over here to not decorative stitch, I misspoke, utility stitch. And then if I type 51, it pops up that stitch right there. And you can see it's going to tell me this is the foot that I would need to use, and that's what that stitch is going to look like. If I need to adjust my width, my length, or the tension, I can do that with the touch of a button. Okay, it comes with that medium spool cap on there. It also has the automatic bobbin winding. It also has the automatic needle threader, and I'll show you that here in just a moment. Some of the other features it has is speed control. So if you're a speed demon and you need to be able to slow down a little bit, you can have that turned on. So if you need it to slow down, you can have that limit how fast it's going to go with your foot controller. If you are fine with how fast you need to drive your machine, you can also change that over to a needle positioning tool, so that if you want that to be more precise on where the needle goes. But of course, you can always change needle position from the width selector. We also have the presser foot up down button, which is a key feature. Kaylin will come back to that one, okay? Scissor cut, great feature to be able to trim your threads right with the touch of a button. Needle up down. We have tack stitching, back stitching, and start stop. If you like to unplug your foot controller and just drive with the touch of a button, you can use the start stop button. Okay? Let me shut that lid. I want to show you all the other things that come with this machine. Some of the other things that you're going to find that come with the machine, of course, there's going to be the manuals that come with it, and you also have a dust cover that comes with it. In addition to the feet I already showed you that were in the accessory tray, let's start right over here. It comes with a cleaning brush, a variety of screwdrivers, an eyelet punch. It comes with a twin needle, a pack of sewing needles. You have actually 4 different sizes of spool caps. The medium one is on the machine, but you have the large, the small, and the mini. Then you also have an adjustable zipper foot, a free motion foot, an open toe foot, a 1/4 inch foot, a I can't remember what it's called foot.
A piecing foot.
Piecing foot, a Teflon foot, an Echo foot, a free motion foot. You have a clear bobbin plate instead of the one with the marks on it that comes on the machine. You have a walking foot. That's a big deal that it comes with the walking foot. You have the quilt guide bar that goes into the walking foot to help you make nice even rows. Thread nets, and then it also comes with a secondary spool holder. So if you're doing twin needle sewing, like we did with this twin needle over here, and a spool cap for that, so that you can have 2 spools of thread feeding into the machine, and a little bag to hold all of these goodies. That's a lot of stuff.
It is.
And if you ended up having to buy some of these extras, especially a lot of these quilting feet, the walking foot, the extension table, if you start having to add those onto another machine, it sometimes just makes more sense to go up to that next level machine so you get all of those things with it. And these feet work across the board. So if you happen to already have another machine, you can trade them out from one of the, because they are those snap-on feet. Okay, so this is the Baby Lock Soprano quilting and sewing machine. Let's do some sewing on it, okay?
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to show you first of all how easy it is to thread this machine. Got my spool of thread, take my spool cap off, and I have my presser foot in the up position, and if I'm not sure if my needle is in the top position, all I have to do is do needle down and needle up, and I know it's in that perfect position. I'm going to put my thread on here, put my spool cap on, and we're just going to follow the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, cut it off with 8, and then I'm going to put my presser foot down, and then I'm going to snap it right through, and it pops that loop right through the eye of the needle, right there. How easy was that?
Yeah, love it.
Love it. Once you have a needle threader, you can't go back. So the other thing that this one has is that drop-in bobbin. And it does have the bobbin winder on here, which is super easy to use. This does use that class 15 bobbin. And we're going to put it in there like the letter P, lay it down, it goes up and around and cuts off, and it automatically will feed that thread up to the top, so you're not having to remember to pull it up and hold on to it so it doesn't come unwound from itself. There we go. All right, shall we do a little sewing?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go back to my utility stitches. Oops, I just threw my button on the floor. I'll go back and get that in just a second. So I've got a nice piece of fabric here, and we are just going to use, how about stitch number 3? You'll notice right here that I told you about those icons up at the top, but if you look right here, you see that was that utility icon, and then this was the decorative stitch icon and the alphabets. Then we also have this one right here. That one looks like a keypad and a way to pull something out of the memory pocket. If you're using this keypad, that means that these 10 stitches, which happen to be some of the most common stitches that you can use, they're all listed right here. So instead of having to go through the entire utility stitch pattern, I could just say, I just wanted a straight stitch right here from the keypad, and I picked number 3. That's the one it defaults to when it turns on. So we're going to go ahead and show you how easy it is to do a straight stitch. I'm going to go ahead and put my presser foot down and start sewing. And I've got my speed control on about a medium speed. If I wanted it to slow down, if I wanted it to speed up, or medium speed.
What if I need to pivot?
So I have it already set up where the needle is stopping in the down position. So you can see when I quit sewing, the needle stopped down here. But in order for me to pivot, I can't turn it with the presser foot down. So I would have to lift my presser foot and turn it like this.
Okay.
But guess what? It can be easier than that.
Okay.
So I'm going to go ahead and put this down and cut my thread. Not that these are hard, because these buttons are right here, easy to do this, but there's a way to make this easier. Can you show right over here? Do you see this looks just kind of like that button right over there?
Yeah.
All right, so that's presser foot up, down. So I'm going to highlight that one. And do you see that one looks like a reverse, and that one looks like the scissor cut?
Yes.
So those are what those things are doing, but it's telling you, I want this to automatically work. So when I turn those on with them highlighted, now it is automatically going to do a back stitch, because if you look at this stitch number 3 right here, it has that double line on top of it. You see that?
Yeah.
Right there. And like on the number 2, it has a dot. If it has a dot, it does a tack stitch. If it does a double line, it does a back stitch. Because if I have this illuminated, it says, I want that to work.
Okay.
Not every stitch has that, but the ones that do, it tells it, please do my job for me. So now watch. I am going to put my presser foot down, and I'm going to actually do it in slow motion, okay? Well, it's
slow
not
motion.
I'm not going to do it slow. I slowed the machine down. But I want you to see that it is going to go forward 3, backward 3, and then continue sewing
Okay.
until I say I'm done.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm going to do a pivot in the middle of it.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you're zoomed in here. All right. 1, 2, 3. And now watch, it's going to go backwards. And then it's going to go forward. And I'm going to speed it up a little bit, because now that you saw that part.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to stop sewing. I'm letting off the foot pedal. But what happened?
The presser foot came up halfway.
And where did my needle stay?
Down.
So that I can easily pivot.
So then what though?
Then I push on my foot controller. Hands are right here, right? You see my hands?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing with my foot control and it automatically lowered the presser foot, and now I'm sewing.
Very
If I
nice.
stop with my foot controller, needle down, presser foot up, pivot.
So that'd be good for like applique.
Oh my gosh.
All kinds of things.
All kinds of things. To be able to have it do automatic pivot function.
Sewing curves.
Sewing curves. And this machine is the first one in the Baby Lock line that has automatic pivot function.
Okay.
So you think I can raise and lower presser foot? You can. It does other things along. I mean, it's a combination of things, but that is key. And if you are used to that on a machine, it is very hard to give that one up.
Mm-hmm.
But now that we got to the end of it, and I decide, well, I'm done with this part of my stitch out.
Mm-hmm.
Now, instead of me having to do back stitch and forward stitch and cut the thread and raise my presser foot, now if I just tap this one time,
Mm-hmm.
watch what it does. It is going to go backward 3, and I slowed it down. It's going to go forward 3. It just cut
nice.
the
It did
thread
it all
and
at
raised
once.
the presser foot. So now I had a locked stitch up here. I did a couple of pivots and I locked down here.
Nice.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, I love that.
Love it. Okay. What do you want to see next?
What if I want to go through something really thick?
You have the ability to do thicknesses because of this foot right here. Let me drop that off of there. This little button that's on here, it's so that it can level out the foot and it can ride up and over thicknesses.
Okay.
Let me show you how that works. I'm going to put that back on. And I am going to grab this piece of denim right here.
So let's say I'm going through a few layers, like fold it in half and in half again.
Like that.
Yeah.
And just sew it together.
I just want to see.
Oh, it's on its automatic back stitch,
That's
remember?
okay.
I'm going to speed us up a little bit because
Well, so that's no problem.
that's no problem. And I'm just going to cut this time. I'm not going to lock that stitch.
Okay.
But it will go ahead and raise my presser foot for me. But let's say I needed it to be even a little bit thicker. So now how many layers do I have, Kaylin?
8.
8.
I know math.
Yes, you do. And I'm going to start sewing again. And it's going to do its back stitch because I had it set up to do that. And it's coming into that. And see how it's kind of making that foot want to kind of ride up? Well, so the way we can combat that is if I push down on the foot and I push the button in, it locks that button in. And so when I had it on automatic presser foot up, I'm going to turn that off for just a second to show how that works a little bit better. Can you see my button is locked right there?
Yeah.
Now it's locked in position, and when I keep sewing, once it gets up and over that bump, that button will pop back out. See, it popped out?
Yeah, nice.
But that makes it so it doesn't have a
But it
stressed
stayed, right,
stitch.
it went over that. Yeah, very nice.
And I'm going to cut that and show you. It was able to ride up and over right here, and it didn't stress the thread as it was going through. That's just it kept a nice even, you can see it right
great.
there, a nice even stitch on the back. So that's what that button is for.
Nice.
Okay.
So what if I want to like attach a button?
Okay, let me show you. So I need to get back into this tray because my button fitting foot is on this one. And that would be this one right here. I'm also going to get the button whole foot out.
Oh yes, I suppose if you attach a button, you probably need a button.
You
hole for it,
probably
too.
do.
Although I have some shirts where the buttons are just
Fake buttons.
fake, they're just for show.
Kind of like girls' fake pockets on jeans.
Yeah.
So this is an M foot, and this is to be able to put a button on. And I got to figure out where I put my button. There it is. It was hiding from me. So this is for buttons that have holes, not buttons that have shanks.
Right.
If it's a shank, you're just using a hand
Yeah.
needle and thread. And you see the little red dots on there?
And
do you see, can you see that over there? Okay. There's like a little,
yeah, I
you-
see it.
trying to see if I'm,
There's like a bar over
a
the
bar, because that
like a
it
plastic
helps
bar
the
over
it helps the
yeah.
thread go up and over, because if you have it too tight, you can't actually get the button through the buttonhole because it's sucked down so tight to the fabric. So I'm going to put the button in where it goes inside there,
Okay.
like that. And now I'm going to line it up so that those red dots kind of line up with the eye holes.
Okay.
Okay. And then it's a snap-on foot, so my snap-on's going to go right in here. So it's on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what do you say we attach a button?
Okay.
Now, here's the trick. If we're going to attach a button, we have to use a zigzag because it has to go from side to side. But if I look over here at all my different stitches, I could just pick a regular zigzag. Or if I look right down here, what does that one look like?
A button.
A button, because that one's going side to side, but it's not moving forward because we don't want it to move forward or it would hit the button. So remember, that was utility stitch and number 90. So down here, I'm going to touch utility 90, and that's my button.
Oh, it even says to use the M foot.
Yep.
Clever.
You don't have to guess, you know. Now, not all buttons are created the same, and the holes are a different distance apart. I'm just going to tell you from a word to the wise, if you'll take your hand wheel and turn it towards you, I'm going to make sure that it goes in that hole. And I'm going to keep turning it to see if it goes in this hole on this side. And it did. And since it went through both of those, I know it's going to make the distance.
Okay.
I wouldn't ever just push on my foot controller and hope for the
Then you'll
best,
just slam it
because
to
you
the
might
button,
just
right?
break your needle. And then you just push on your foot controller and see how it's going over that little bar, and then
Oh,
it
and it
does a lock
automatically
stitch.
stops.
And cut the thread.
Nice.
And then I'm going to raise my presser foot up on that, and then I need to slide it forward to get it off of that little bar. And look, it attached my button.
Nice. Okay, so then how do we make the hole for that button to go through?
We're going to take that foot off.
Okay.
And I'm just going to move it out of my way. And then this is the buttonhole foot. Now, we did this a little backwards
Yeah.
because I would have needed to know how big my button was, and I would have put it in here, and it could have just been riding along for the ride to know that that's how big the button was. I happen to know that this button is the biggest button that this can use.
Okay.
So just having it fully open
Okay.
will solve that problem. But it normally would have ridden in there. I am going to snap this foot on, same way I did the other foot. And then there's a little lever right here that is the button foot lever. So I have to put my hand in front of what we're doing. Can you see that okay?
Yeah, I can see it.
And it came down and it went right behind that piece of plastic right there.
Okay.
I'm going to put my fabric right here,
Okay.
and it is going to sew away from me,
Okay.
unlike a 4-step buttonhole that comes towards you.
Mhm.
So you have to have enough space that if I knew my buttonhole needed to start here and go backwards, then I'm ready to go. But I have to pick the buttonhole stitch. So if you look right here, I've got 3 there, and I've got quite a few right here. How about if we do number 86?
Sure.
So I'm already in utility, so I'm going to push 8-6, and there it is, and it tells me to use the A foot, and this is my A foot. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, this is super fun. I'm going to show you how easy it is. You ready? Get set, go. And it cut it at the end. And look, my perfect buttonhole.
Nice.
And I'm going to grab my seam ripper. And we're going to open that buttonhole so I can show you how perfect it is to go on that button. I always start from one end and go towards the middle instead of trying to go all the way across and risking cutting right through it. And then, looky there.
Ta-da!
Ta-da!
Nice.
Perfect button and buttonhole.
Made the world's weirdest little pouch.
We did. And then when you're done, you will put that back up. But let's just pretend like we didn't remember we were supposed to do that. I'm going to take that foot off, and I'm going to put my J foot back on
Okay.
so that we can start sewing something else. I want to show you how smart these machines are, because I am all about make my machine play nice for me. Okay, and I'll just sew back on my denim again. And I'm just going to go back to my keypad 3 and be at a straight stitch, and I'm going to push on this, and it didn't just send me an error message, it told me I need to lift the buttonhole lever to sew because I forgot to put it up. Just like if I had had my buttonhole foot on and I was trying to sew a buttonhole, it would have told me, and I didn't pull it down, it would have told me to lower the buttonhole lever.
Gotcha.
I love a machine that tells me very specific information so I can be successful. Okay, now let me show you a few other key features about this machine. One of them is right here. It is directional sewing. Right here. It can sew forward, backward, sideways. That's
Nice.
pretty handy if you're ever in the middle of a project and you need that machine to be able to just to go a few stitches over, but it's too hard to turn the project around. It'll sew sideways, which also means that over here in these decorative stitches, there's some extra wide stitches. So let's look at this one right here. So that was decorative stitch category number 1, and it is stitch number 72. Ready? So we're going to do, ooh, she put that camera right in front of my face. Decorative 1, and I'm going to say, yep, it's okay, I'm changing it. And I'm going to say number 72. And then you see that stitch pattern right there? It is ready to go. Now, I could have put the open toe foot on here so that I could see inside it a little bit better. But what I want you to notice is I'm just keeping that fabric going parallel. But what is it doing?
It's moving side to side.
It's moving side to side. It is tracking it so that it can make a larger than typical stitch. That's a 7mm wide opening right there inside there. And that is obviously a lot more than 7mm. That's a pretty impressive feature that it has on this mid-size machine. I love this machine. I absolutely love this machine. It is a great one to have, to be able to do decorative sewing, to do buttonholes, to do thick items, to be able to do your quilting, because it came with so many of the quilting feet already with it, that it came with the extension table. For a 21-pound machine that's easy to cart wherever you need it to go, this is such a good go-to machine. We had a ruler work class just recently in some of our stores, and we featured this machine and we're sewing on this. So yes, you can do ruler work on quilts with it. You can make garments with it. You can do all sorts of fun things with it. And I'm only scratching the surface about some of the things you can do on it. And we have some of these classroom machines available. We sold some, but we didn't sell all of them. So that means that we get to pass that savings along to you. And if it is something that you think you might be interested in, I can promise you, you are going to want to call your local Be Sew In, because the price is so fantastic. I can't even tell it to you on this video. Yep, it is such a good deal that you're going to have to call us for this price. So if this is the time that you're thinking, I am ready to get myself something new to travel with, or maybe it's time to get a new Mother's Day present, buy yourself a Mother's Day present. You don't have to wait for somebody else to go get that for you. Get the one that you want, and then you say, you know what? Look what you all just got me. I am so happy.
And you know what I heard?
What did you hear?
That if you get one of these classroom machines, Mary's going to throw in the additional 17-piece foot kit for half off.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
So then really you can do pretty much anything you want on the machine, because you'll have every accessory you
That's
need.
a great deal, because I know what the price is on this that I can't quite tell you out loud, because you're going to have to call me first. If you can get this machine at that great deal and a foot kit for half off, you are set.
Yeah.
Wow, that is quite the great deal. So I really think y'all should be calling any one of us at any one of our stores at Be Sew In. We are here to help you with that. Now, as you know, we have all sorts of events that are also going on. We have the Artful Embroidery event for you to sign up. We also, that one's in Tulsa, and then we have the OESD Stitch Trip event that's going on in Oklahoma City at the end of the month. We also have Project Sew Summer Camp for kids, and we also have the AccuQuilt classes that are coming up at multiple stores. So this is the right time to get you into a fun machine so that you can enjoy some of these classes, sign up for the events. We also always like to do a giveaway every week, and this time the giveaway that we have is this wonderful box of Sensa thread. This is an embroidery and quilting thread. I'm going to turn it around so you can see all those pretty colors.
Yeah, those are great.
There's 18 huge spools in here. It's 1,000 meters on each spool. That's a really big deal. That's the same size as a regular cone of embroidery thread to have 1,000 meters on it. This one is made out of lyocell, which is a botanical fiber, and The other thing that's really great about Sensa thread is that the way it's manufactured is very eco-friendly. The dyes and the things that they use to be able to have this machine, I'm sorry, this thread manufactured, they are able to recycle some of the fluids after they're doing the processing of it, and you end up with being a nicer footprint on the world when this thread is being made. So this is a $99 value that is going to get to go home with somebody for free, because if you will do the magic like, share, or comment, one lucky winner Thursday at 5 p.m. will have their name drawn, and they're going to get to have one of these. Now, if this is something that you think, well, gosh, if I'm not the lucky winner, I still want to get some, we're going to have this thread on sale 25% off for this set of thread,
Nice.
which makes it just under $75, which that's a great deal for 18
that.
spools of thread. It is a buttery, soft look that you can use in your quilting, or you can use it in embroidery. So it's a great dual use. If you haven't tried Sensa thread, I encourage you to try it. There's some beautiful colors in it.
Nice.
So we hope you learned a lot about the fabulous Soprano. And if it's something that you're ready to learn more about, just give us a call at BSON or look us up at bson.com. And we are happy to see you and talk to you again soon. Thanks for joining us at New at 2. We'll talk to you again.